Hi everyone! So it's been a very long time since I've done any kind of tutorial. I had a goal several years ago to kind of crank these out since I do a lot of covers for Halloween and Christmas, all that fun stuff throughout the year, but I just never got around to it because life gets busy. But now that I have my official home studio kind of set up, I am going to start releasing more of these tutorials. And along with these tutorials, I will have some sheet music for these because I get asked for that a lot online. Now, I will preface by saying all of my covers I learned by ear, so it does take a little bit of time for me to get the sheet music written out, but this is going to be a priority of mine to get these cranked out. So these tutorial videos will act as a supplement to the sheet music. Since I know most people out there are most likely learning this from sheet music, which is totally fine. If you're learning this by ear, this is going to be more technique based, more bowing, fingering stuff. So these are going to be designed to go hand in hand, the sheet music and the video. So the sheet music I actually have published already. You can get it at the links below in the caption. Without further ado, let's learn Master of Puppets. So this one I did a few years ago for my 31 Songs of Halloween, and I did my best to kind of dress up like Eddie Munson. Fun fact, I didn't even really have this shirt back then. I took a piece of paper and drew out the Hellfire design and just stuck it to my body and hid the fact that it was a piece of paper with a little denim shirt over top. And I didn't even think to do this with my hair. Anywho, I love Stranger Things so much, and I love Metallica, and this version of the song that I did, it's not the entire thing because the song is just really, really long. It's a great song. I love the song. This is kind of like the greatest hits version of the song. We get that opening guitar riff, we get some of the vocal melody, and then the meat and potatoes of the whole song is that epic guitar solo. So that is the focus of this video. We're going to start with the intro guitar at the beginning. Now in the sheet music of this, you will see a bunch of little waves. That is designed to be a way to represent really wavy vibrato. It's not like your typical classical vibrato. It is like you're sliding a lot. You have to be very, very relaxed in your left hand to do this. And it's almost like you're barely touching the string. That's where you kind of get a little bit of that harmonic sound where it's not quite the note, it's a little higher pitched than that. And we'll use that a couple times throughout, actually a lot of times in this one. There's also a little doodad I put there. It's like a little circle with a line through it. I use Dorico ever since Finale bit the dust. And that is designed to show you the specific moments where you are going to do Ponticello. So playing against the bridge for that scratchy sound. As an acoustic violinist, if you're not plugged in, or if you're not playing on an electric violin, but you still want to get that kind of rock guitar sound, that distortion sound, this is kind of a little cheat code to get that distortion. Just a little tasteful Ponticello moment. The reason I didn't write that as Sol Ponticello is because it happens so sporadically and just on little moments here and there. It would have cluttered up the music to write Sol Ponticello, ordinary. So that is designed to kind of clean up the sheet music a little bit for you guys. So we start off right away, lots of double down bow action. It's aggressive. So that note right there, that C natural, it's a combination of that wavy vibrato and also a little Ponticello. Then we get to the little riff. So that, a little fingering pro tip for this, we're going to start in first position. Once we get to that E, right before the B flat, you're going to move your first finger to low 1 for that B flat, and then immediately put your second finger where that E was on the D string. So for the sheet music people, this is going to be measure 6. One more time, real slow. First finger on E, B flat, 2. And then we're gonna do open A, high 3, 3, 2. So that all together. And we have a lot of accents in this part because we have that constant E down at the bottom. It's going to be very important to highlight the moving note. That is the action that's happening. We want to highlight that, so we want to accent those notes. You find a lot of stuff like that in Bach. So it's kind of fun how classical technique can meet metal technique. It's all the same. Now in a similar vein, for the next part that starts at measure 8, sorry, I'm looking at my sheet music down here. For the next part that starts at measure 8, we are going to do the same sort of thing. We have that E drone at the bottom, and the moving notes on top are going to get the accent. When it comes to those slurs, we want to accent the bow change. That'll really give it the punch that is also happening in the drums. And for a closer look at what the fingers are doing, I am keeping my first finger down. 1, low 2, high 2, back to low 2, 1. Then as we come out of that riff to measure 12, we're going to do a similar fingering as we did earlier, where we move first finger to that B flat, kind of half position there, and then your second finger becomes that E on the D string. Start with the first finger on E, immediately move it to the B flat, then 2 takes its place, and then we have just the slightest moment of wave, and then it's gonna go immediately into the vocal melody. We kind of slide into it like that. Now as we get into this vocal melody part, there's a lot of sliding in and a lot of sliding out of the main note. This is to kind of mimic what James does with his voice in the original recording by Metallica. So right off the bat, we have a lot of techniques coming at us. We get out of our wavy slide and we slide into that first note. And as we continue the melody, we're gonna slide out. I'm gonna use an open E there. We immediately have an accent. We have the wavy vibrato, and we're ponticello. It's gonna give it a punch that is just, it's an aggressive song. You gotta be just with it. So slide in, slide out, and then punch it. Not that hard. Like that. Now that might take some practice. You don't have to be too forceful with it. You don't wanna hurt your bow, you don't wanna hurt your violin. I would practice one technique at a time with that. Nail the vibrato first. Then give it a little bite, then just move it over to the bridge. That's all you gotta do. Then we get to measure 16, and measure 17 is where we have our first time change. This song has a lot of moments where it goes from 4 to 3. So you've really gotta keep that inner metronome going at all times. Bum, 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 bum. Now, I would not recommend initially trying this at the original tempo. This is a fast tune, so please, slow practice is always going to be, no matter what genre, always going to be the most important thing you do. So measure 16, we start with an accent, we're coming in hot, and then we have technically an F sharp to a G. I wrote that because we're gonna slide into that G, and we want to make it as dramatic as possible with that wavy vibrato. If you want to hit that F sharp with a super low 2, you can. It'll help that slide be more smooth. Then we get to measure 18. Most of this is pretty straightforward. Anytime we have that G, we're gonna really slide into it. Wavy vibrato. Measure 22 is super similar to what we have in measure 14. It's just got a few more ponticello moments to get a little more raspy. We're getting into the song, we're getting more angry. So right off the bat, we're gonna hit that first note in measure 22 with a little Ponticello moment, just a hint, just enough to give it a little power. Measure 24 is the same as measure 16. So you already know that part, you're good. And measure 26 is the same as measure 18. So you already know that part. And again, keep that as light as you can. The looser you get with your left hand, the more oscillations you're going to be able to get. We have reached the bottom of the first page. Congratulations. So measure 30. These two ideas that we have in this bottom line of the first page start similar. We're going to slide into that F sharp. Then we got an accent and that wavy vibrato. Then we start the same, slide into the F sharp. Then we're going to slide out of it. Real dramatic. Like that. So measure 34 starts similar, but we're gonna really draw out this slide up from F natural to F sharp. Just really take your time with it. We want to just soak up all that juice, just savor it, you know? Measure 36, I did something similar to what I did earlier, where I kind of wrote out the notes of the slide. This is a real dramatic slide here at the end of measure 36 from, I guess, a G sharp to an A natural. You can hit that with your third finger and just really draw out. Because we also have that super wavy vibrato, and at the tail end of that, we're gonna hit the bridge. And then we quickly slide out of it to an E. And we're just gonna let that E ring. So in context, measure 36. Probably sounds a little weird. It's also a little slower than what the track is doing. In context, it sounds like a metal singer. So once we hit measure 39, this is kind of part of the chorus. There's a lot of parts to this song, so it's a little blurry what constitutes like a pre-chorus, a chorus, a post-chorus, whatever you want to call it. But this is like the chorus. So we're gonna start on an up bow. We got an eighth note and an eighth rest. This little very, very tiny space is necessary so you can hit that G natural slide with a really strong accent. And that's a very quick retake right there at measure 43. Super quick retake. We want to keep it nice and small. Measure 45, it's no longer an eighth note, it's a quarter note. You can let this connect a little bit more into the next note. You're going to hit this with a 4 so you can slide down. Measure 49 into measure 50. This is a little different. We have rest and a little Ponticello moment for just like a teeny bite at the beginning of that note.
Charlie bit me.
And you slide out immediately. Measure 53, that eighth note is back. And then measure 54, these two notes, the G and F sharp, really just make it mushy how you're gonna slide in and out of both. It should feel real buttery here. And then we have our aggressive master. So quick retakes, give it a little punch at the beginning, a little accent. And now we have reached probably why you are here, the guitar solo.
Dude, most metal
So the infamous guitar solo starts at measure 57, and we're doing all these triplets. It's going to be important that you accent every bow change. Then change. We have to keep track of the time change a lot in this solo. Metronome work, slow metronome work is going to help you with this. Keep a constant beat. Now for fingering for this, I am going to leave my first finger down on the A string for that beat. Because if you try to just let the fingers go to town, it's going to make it messy. This is going to really clean this up. we get there, you can lift the first finger up. Measure 61 and 62, you may notice there's an accent on every beat. Even though we're separate bow triplets, we're really just gonna hammer home every beat. So really be aggressive with those accents. Those eighth note duples that come out of nowhere, you want to use that to propel the motion forward into measure 63, which is the next part. So that propulsion, we have up bow, accent, eighth note slurred. Then we're going to slide in. Then an accent and just a little moment of our wavy vibrato. So it looks like this. Then we immediately go to triplets, accent at the beginning. That B on the E string has an accent and just a little bit of a wave. The looser you can get, the faster you can get that. That's kind of what the guitar is doing there. Fingering for that section, open E as you go into measure 63. Then I go to a fourth finger. It's going to keep that triplet figure very, very clean, so you don't have to worry about a string crossing. B to E open, then 3, 2, 1, and then 4, so you can give it that wavy vibrato again. Now measures 65 and 66. These are kind of what's happening. This is one of those moments where you listen to just an isolated section of the track over and over and over. It's like, what note is he hitting? I think it's an F. I think it's an A. For those really high notes. And then you can be as accurate with this as you want. If you want to really just be super accurate and practice that over and over and over and over, be my guest. Honestly, it's more about getting that sliding figure down. As long as you hit a high note with a lot of relaxation and sliding, you're good. So you're gonna shoot your hand up really fast to hit that high note, F we'll call it. You don't have to slide super far down. I kind of put an A just as an idea, but you can, just as long as you slide down, you're fine. Just don't overshoot it, because then you have to go back up and you don't want to have to travel an insane distance. So this is your warning. And then the next part, you see the double ups. It's not really a double up. I just put that to make sure you knew that was all in an up bow. That little, you slide in, out, and then back up. Then you go even higher. It's the same figure. I would use your third finger for both of those figures. That is what is most comfortable to me. I think trying to do it with a fourth finger, a finger that's naturally weaker than the others, is probably not going to do you any favors. For me, when I was figuring out the solo in the first place, I kept going back to my third finger because it feels very, very stable. And keep everything loose. Do not squeeze your thumb on the neck. That is going to prevent those slides from happening. That goes for classical music too. Pick up to 67. After we get out of that sliding mess, we're going to start on another up bow. Now you should be, after those slides, pretty close to the frog. That'll work because this up bow pickup is so fast, and you can give it a little bit of an accent there. Even though I didn't write an accent, it's okay. It's going to naturally happen because you are close to the frog. Fingering wise, for that A sharp, I just move my first finger around. So 1, 1, 1. Then. And these eighth notes can be really bouncy. I would stay close to the frog for this. And it'll give it a little bit of grit too. This is a metal song.
This is gonna be metal.
Then you're gonna accent. Now I forgot to write this bowing in there. The next two eighth notes, E, D, I do those double up. So coming out of that slur figure, that'll set you up nicely to do down up. And we got that wavy vibrato. The rhythm at measure 69 may be a little weird. It is just like a little ornament written out. super slow motion. So, as always, practice slow. Don't try to go for that full speed ahead because it'll just create tension. If you listen to the recording when the guitar player does this, it's like it's barely there. And how you get that is slow practice. Keep focusing on keeping everything light. It's just a little, almost like a little twitch. If you practice that, slowly build up your speed. It'll sound very effortless. That's what we want. So coming out of that, measure 69. Then we have, now I know the main note of this is B. I do that with my second finger usually, so kind of half position sort of stuff. That's so I can slide up to that C natural pretty comfortably and then just slide back to B. Because you're going to be doing that wavy vibrato anyways, it doesn't really matter if you're super accurate with that note, because it's just going to sound wavy in the end. So looking at measure 69 one more time. Second finger. Now 71, we are back to that kind of triplet figure, with one bow per beat, accent at the beginning of every beat. Fingering wise, when I did my original video a few years ago, I included a string crossing. That's not the smartest idea. We're gonna not do that. We're gonna shift. So it's basically like a 3-2-1, 3-2-1, then 3-2-1, 3-2-1, 3-2-1, 3-2-1. Then you finally do 1 E. At the tail end of it, you're gonna go back to first position. So it's gonna look like this. Shift. Shift. And this is still an up bow. So that pass. Both of those triplet figures are gonna be in an up bow, and it's setting you up for a strong down bow when we get back into the 4/4 section. One more time. Shift. Shift. Back. Then. See how that lands you at a very strong downbeat for that 4/4. And measure 73 and 74 have some kind of fun rhythmic things going on. Triplet, going back and forth between triplets and 16th notes. You don't have to be super accurate with the 16th notes because it's just, once again, it's a little ornament. Just a little scale down. I would keep your first finger down for this entire little section. It's gonna really help everything. I would focus your rhythmic accuracy on the triplets. If you really want to be a stickler for rhythm, once again, slow metronome practice. Are you sensing a theme? I'm sensing a theme. 75, we slide into this F sharp. It's just F sharp quarter notes, but if you notice, that wavy line is over all of them. So you're going to be changing your bow for the quarter notes, but your left hand's just going to be automatic pilot wavy. Like that. 2, 3, 4. So that's a really good exercise to practice the coordination between this and your bow. Measure 76 is a very interesting measure. It is 3/4, and it is just finger tremolo. Keep that first finger down. Do as many oscillations as you can, but don't stress about trying to get a lot, especially because it's going fourth finger to 1. It's very easy to get tense in that measure. You don't want to sacrifice relaxation of the left hand for number of finger tremolos. And for the bowing for this, the first beat I do down, and then the last 2 beats I do up. Down, up. Like that. Don't feel like you have to do a lot. A little bit will get you a long way, especially if you're not as comfortable with this motion and if it's causing tension here. Now, another reason to stay as relaxed as possible getting out of that 3/4 measure is because immediately we have the end of the solo. It is nothing but wavy lines and it's a little bit weird. So 77 to the end, you're going to be doing this wavy vibrato while you're shifting. We are going to shift a lot in this finale part of the solo. Basically, we start measure 77 on an F sharp. Now, the note accuracy of this doesn't have to be very accurate because you're just going to be waving You don't need to fuss about it. If you really want to be a stickler for it, this is what it's going to look like. So we have the F sharp, then you're going to shift to the G, then the A, then the B, then the C sharp, and then I usually hit that last E with a 2, I think, because it falls very, very naturally there. So if you want to be a stickler for your shifts, which is good practice, then that's what I would do shift-wise. If you want to be a little more lenient, because as I said, you are going to be doing that wavy vibrato the entire time, just as long as you're ballpark, and then you hit that E at the end, no one's going to notice. If we're going to take that wavy vibrato out at measure 77 to the end, this is what it's going to look like in slow motion. Those little triplets, it's just a little half step ornament, really. Now if we throw the wavy vibrato in there, it sounds like this. So for that part, my thumb is barely touching the neck, and that is to help 1, smooth shifts, 2, smooth vibrato. This part, our theme is back. Slow practice is gonna help. It's gonna sound real wonky, that's okay. That is going to really help you. When I was trying to figure out what the heck the guitar was doing, this was what made the most sense, because he's just kind of going up, just wah everything. For translation to violin, this is what made sense to me, and it might be the part that you have to practice the most because it's just weird. And if you're primarily a classical violinist, this is going to be a lot of weird techniques thrown at you. So don't get discouraged. Just remember, relaxation with all of this is key. And overall, just have fun with it. This is a rock song, man. Pretend like you're just going out with a bang with your weapon of choice, and there's all these demo bats coming at you. Like, have fun. All right, and here it is all together. That is Master of Puppets, the highlights reel, I guess, with the intro guitar and the vocal melody and the guitar solo. I know there's a lot more to this tune, but this would have been 1, an insanely long cover, and 2, an insanely long tutorial, and 3, an insanely long arrangement. So if you were looking to impress your friends with a fun party trick of look what I can do, this is a really, really fun song to do that with. So I will be doing a lot more of these tutorials with sheet music. Again, they are designed to go hand in hand. The link for the sheet music is below in the comments or the description, whichever platform we're on, it's there somewhere. And I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. If you would like a specific cover of mine to be made into a tutorial with sheet music, comment that as well. I know I already have tons of videos with comments saying notes please, so I am working on slowly getting there. For now, happy playing, happy practicing, see you around.